Hello, sports fans and football fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. And today I got a football game for you. I know I said I was going to wait until like maybe August to start doing the football games, but I'm using the new setup that I recently purchased and I was too excited to use it. So I wanted to get right into it and start right now with it. We are going to do the 1977 Buffalo Bills visiting the 1972 Houston Oilers. And you can see the Oilers are the home team. If you've watched my past football videos, you know that I will, you know what I usually do. I use my specialized dice along with the dice from the game. We've got the dice that tells whether there's a penalty, whether there's a defensive penalty or an offensive penalty. We got the dice that tells whether the defense is right in their guesses, which it'll say right, or it'll have a question mark where I have to refer to a chart, or it'll have an X that says that the defense was wrong. The only time I won't refer to that or use that or consider that is when it's an obvious passing situation, in which case we won't do that. We won't use that dice. The timer is right here. I'm going to move it 2 for every play, and I'll move it 1 on the kickoff. And all of this right here is 1 quarter. So we are, as you can see, we're in the first quarter. Or the first quarter, right here is the quarter. First quarter, and these are the downs. And this is the 10-yard marker, and this is where the ball actually is. So, I mean, it's a cool thing. I bought this from... I can't remember his name now, but anyway, I will put it in the I'll put it in the description in case you want to buy one yourself. This is one of the best purchases I think I've ever had. I bought the scoreboard from him. I bought the football field, everything. It's great. So, with all of that having been said, we're going to get going with this game. The home team always elects whether to kick off or I just say that. I don't do a coin flip. I just say that the home team can decide, and the home team is the Oilers, and they want to kick off. So the Oilers are kicking off, and that is a 6 on the kickoff, which is to the 7 and back 1. So we're going to move this to the 7-yard line, and back number 1 is returning it for Buffalo, the 1977 Buffalo Bills. It's back number 1, and he gets a 5, and that is going to be 21 yards. So 2, 10, 20, and back it off 1. And it's going to be first down and 10 for Buffalo from the 29-yard line, from their own 29. The starting lineup for the Buffalo Bills, the quarterback will be Joe Ferguson. Running backs are Jim Braxton and the quite famous Hall of Famer O.J. Simpson. The tight end is Reuben Gant. The split end is going to be Lou Piccone, and the flanker is Bob Chandler, who a friend of mine, Chris Dufour, he's been on the channel before, told me that I definitely need to play Bob Chandler. He loves Bob Chandler, and so we are going to start. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with an off-tackle run by O.J. Simpson, the halfback, and we will roll all the dice, and he gets an 11 on the Oilers defense off tackle. And that's going to be a 4-yard gain for O.J. Simpson. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 2nd down and 6. And we move this 1 for the kickoff and then 2 for that first play that was completed. So there's 14-15 left in the first quarter. And there was no penalty on that. They're going to go end run with O.J. Simpson. Obviously, they're going to lean heavily on O.J. Simpson. He gets a 2-6, and the defense was wrong. So end run is going to be a short gain. And you have to excuse me, I have a cold, so, you know, I'm going to fight through this. That is a 10 on the short gain chart, which is 12 yards. So he runs for 12 yards, 2, 10, and there's a new set of downs for the Buffalo Bills. So they've got a 1st and 10, back to 1st down, and move it 2 more. And they're going to go off. They're going to go line buck with the fullback. So they'll go line buck with the fullback. Their fullback is Jim Braxton. And he gets an 11. They're right off tackle. And even right, he gets a, is that off? No, it's line buck. 5 yards. He gets 5 yards even though they're right. So he was a good running back, I guess. That is bringing up 2nd and 5, and we move it 2 more. 2nd and 5, they're going to try a short pass to the split end. They're going to try their first pass of the game right here. And that is going to be a 2-9. They were right on the short pass. And that is going to be incomplete. So we move it 2 more. And it's going to be 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5 coming up. They're going to go end run with O.J. Simpson. 5 yards, but, you know, O.J. can get that. It's a 10 on their defense, their end run defense. And 10 on the end run for Houston is -1. O.J. Simpson loses a yard, and so the Bills are going to have to punt. We will refer to their punt card. It's a 3. That's going to be a booming punt. The punter, by the way, is Marv Bateman, and a 3 is a 55-yarder. So that's going to go into the end zone. And they'll just take it on the 20. The Oilers will take it 1st and 10 on the 20. And by the way, the Oilers didn't have possession, so I did mess that up. But they do have it now. So because you can see, I can change the possession. But anyway, the Oilers have it, and they're going to go. The Oilers lineup. At fullback, they have Hoyle Granger. At halfback, they have... oh, wait a minute. Do I have a halfback? I don't have a halfback out here. All right. Well, we got to get a halfback for them. Will be... The reason is they only had one halfback, and I missed him. But anyway, it's going to be Willie Rogers. So Willie Rogers at halfback, Hoyle Granger at fullback. The quarterback will be Dan Pastorini, of course. The flanker will be Ken Burrow. The split end is Dave L. Smith, and the tight end is Elvin Reed. So they're going to go end run with the halfback on 1st and 10. And we got to put this back to 1st and 10. And that is going to be a 4. It's going to be on the defense for the Bills, end run 4. And that's going to be a 6-yard gain. So it's 2nd and 4. Move this 2 for the play. And they're going to go line buck with the fullback. Now, back in the 70s, football was a running game. The quarterbacks were generally bad, even the big-name quarterbacks from the time. So 8 line buck. We were going to go line buck with the fullback. And 8 line buck is, and they were wrong. It's still only 1 yard. So that makes it third and 2. Let's see, 3. 3rd and 3. And they're going to go flat pass to the tight end. So Dan Pastorini is going to drop back and try a flat pass. They are right, and there's a possible defensive penalty. So 10, let's see, 2-10 on Pastorini. Flat pass is, if they're right, it's incomplete. But let's see if there was a penalty. We're going to roll on the defensive card for the Buffalo Bills. That is an 8. There was no penalty. So that does leave them with a 4th down, and they are going to punt. So we're going to switch the possession back to the Bills. And they get a 6 on the punt. The punter for Houston is Dan Pastorini. So he gets a 43-yard punt off, and it's going to be back to returning it. 43 is 3, 10, 20, 30, 40. And then back to is returning the punt. And let's see, that's going to be Keith Moody. And that is a 4, which is 18 yards, which is really good. 10, 5, and 3, and it's going to be 1st and 10 from just inside, or just at the cusp of the end of their territory. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Bills from their own 48-yard line. And of course, they're going to go start with an end run to O.J. Simpson. And that is going to be a 10, possible defensive penalty, and they were, well, it's on the defense card. So 10 end run is -1 yard. He loses a yard, but let's see if there was a penalty. We'll roll on the Houston card. And that is a 4. Opponent number 3. So the penalty is on the Bills. Number 3. And that was a run. It's going to be a personal foul, 15 yards from the concluding line of scrimmage. So he'd lost a yard, but then they got 15 on the penalty. So that's 4, 10, and 11. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bills at the, and we got to move this another 2. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bills at the Houston 39-yard line. And with a 1st and 10 now, they're going to go long to the flanker. So he's Ferguson's going to air it out. And that is going to be a 5 long pass on the defense And that's going to be a sack, -9 yards. So that's 2nd and 19 now. And they're going to go short pass. They got to try to get this back. They're going to go short pass to the split end. And that is a 2 on a short pass on the defense, and it's going to be 13 yards, 2-7. And let's see. It is a 5, so it is 13-yard gain, 10, and they get a big chunk of that back, but it's still 3rd and 5. And we're going to go down here. We got 11 minutes left in the first quarter. And they're going to go end run with O.J. Simpson on 3rd and 5 again. They've done this before, and he didn't pick it up. And that is a 5. That's going to be a possible fumble, a possible defensive penalty as well. But end run 5, fumble, -1, 2-9. 2-9, O.J. Simpson fumbles. He does, 2-6 or 12. They get it back. They do get it back. But let's see if there was a defensive penalty on the play. For that, we will roll on Houston's card. We'll look at Houston's card, 6. There was no defensive penalty. So what did he lose? 1 yard. He lost 1 yard. They are now at the 36-yard line, and trying a field goal from there, I'm going to say, is probably not going to happen. It's 2. We have to roll a 2 on 2 6-sided dice for it to be good, so they're going to punt. You know what? No, they're not. They're going to go short pass. If they give the ball to Houston right here, no big deal. So they're going to go short pass to the tight end. And that is going to be a 4. And it's a 4 on Ferguson's card. And it's going to be, they were wrong, and it's going to be a 10-yard gain. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they barely get the first down. It pays off. The gamble pays off. I guess Houston thought they were going to run with O.J. Simpson, but they chose not to do that. So it's going to go back to first down. And we move it 2 more, and there's 10:30 left in the first quarter. And now they're going to go end run with O.J. Simpson. And that is going to be a 5. They're right. End run right, 5 is fumble -5, 2-8 or 12. And that is a 4, so there is a fumble, and 2-6 or 12, they get it back. They do get it back. So, but they lose 5 yards. Now, there was a possible offensive penalty on the play. Let's see if Buffalo made a penalty. 12, they did not. But they did lose a lot of yards. 10 minutes left in the first quarter. And they have a second down now and a lot to go. They're going to go off tackle with the fullback. So they're going to go off tackle with Jim Braxton is what they're doing. And that's a 2 off tackle on the defense. And that's going to be 32 yards and a touchdown. Jim Braxton gets a touchdown for Houston. Or for, not Houston, for Buffalo. And that gets them 6 points. And they're going to try the extra point. And we got to move this 2 again. 9:30 left in the first quarter. They're going to try the extra point. And the extra point misses only on 11. And the kicker is Carson Long. And that is a 9. So that is going to be 7 points. And the Bills are ahead 7-0. And they will now kick off. The kickoff is a 6, and that goes to the 8, number 1. So Houston's returning from their 8 with their number 1 back. And that is a 10. And that's going to be 14 yards. So 2, 10, and 2. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Houston from their 22-yard line. Have to punt. They're out of field goal range. And they don't want to give the ball to Buffalo right there. That's a 7. 7 on the punt is 42 back 1. And that goes right to the goal line. So they're going to return it. Back number 1. That is a 3. That's a touchdown. Touchdown, Bills. Punt return for a touchdown. Unreal. The extra point misses on 11. It doesn't, so that's going to be 14. It is 14-0. Oh, I didn't change the possession. There's so many moving parts with this football, so you're going to have to bear with me. But anyway, they got 14, and they will kick off. So possession will go back to the Oilers. And the kickoff was 1, so that was 7. And that's a 9 on the kickoff by the Bills. So 9 is going to be to the 1-yard line, number 2. Number 2 back is returning from the 1-yard line. That is a 6, and it's going to be a 13-yard return. So it's out to the 14. 14-yard line, 1st and 10 for Houston, who's down 14-0 because the Bills had a touchdown pass or a touchdown run by their fullback and a punt return for a touchdown. So they're going to go end run with O.J. Simpson. Oh, wait a minute. No, they're going to go, Houston's got the ball. So they're going to go end run with Willie Rogers, their halfback. We go back here to the first down. That is a 7, but they were right. 7 right on Willie Rogers is going to be -6. That was killer right there. They got a 2nd and 16. 6:30 left in the first quarter. They're going to go long to the flanker. They're going to hope that he doesn't get sacked, for one thing. 5 long on the Buffalo defense. And that's going to be incomplete. So it's going to be 3rd down. 6 minutes left. And they got to go a long way. They're going to go short pass. They're going to try a short pass to the split end. They got to hope they get some yards here. 10, short pass. And on the Buffalo defense is a -7. And they get sacked to the 1-yard line. So they have to, obviously they have to punt. And they're going to do that. It is a good punt, though. It is 54 back 2. So it's going to go to the Buffalo. The punt is to the Buffalo 45. And the back is back number 2. That is a 7. That's going to be on Houston's punt return defense. And let's see here. That's an 8-yard return. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Buffalo. Now, I want to point out, neither of these teams was very good. The 72 Oilers only won 1 game, and I think the 77 Bills won like 4 or 5 games. So neither one was very good. They're going to come out and go end run with O.J. Simpson. Why not lean on O.J. Simpson? That is going to be a possible offensive penalty, but it's going to be a 10 end run when the defense was wrong. And that's going to be 9 yards if it holds up. Could be an offensive penalty. We'll roll for that to see. 5. Offsides. So they were offsides. It's going to come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to be 1st and 15. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. They're going to go short to the split end. And now the Oilers don't have the ball. The Bills do. Again, you got to bear with me on that. 6, short pass 6, wrong, possible defensive penalty. That is going to be an 11-yard gain, but let's see if there was a defensive penalty on Houston. 6, there isn't, so it's an 11-yard pickup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And they have to go, well, they got to go, what is it? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 more yards, 4 yards. So they got a 2nd and 4. They're going to go off tackle with their fullback. So this is going to be Jim Braxton. And he gets a 5. That's going to be a possible fumble. They were wrong, though. Off tackle 5, wrong is, no, it's not a fumble. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. Possible fumble 2 to 7. And it's a 9, so it isn't. He did not fumble the ball, but he got 0 yards. So now it's 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4, they're going to get a line buck with O.J. Simpson. And that's going to be a 6 line buck when the defense was right. And it's going to be 2 yards. And again, they're going to try it. They're up by 14. They're playing with house money. 4:30 left in the first quarter. And they're going to, they're going to go, no, they're not going to go long on, wait a minute, is it 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2? I think it's 4th and 2. So yeah, 4th and 2, they're going to go off tackle with OJ. They're leaning on OJ here. And that is going to be a 6-5, possible offensive penalty, but it's going to be a 6-5 on the defense. Well, that would be 5 yards, but let's see if there's an offensive penalty. That is an 8, and there isn't. So he does get 5 yards and the first down. First and 10 for Buffalo from the 33 of the Oilers. And they're going to go off tackle with the fullback. So this is going to be, they're going to give it back to Jim Braxton, who has a touchdown this game. And that is a 10 off tackle, and they were wrong. And that's going to be 8 yards. 8 yards, so it's 2nd and 2. They're going to go end run with OJ, you know that. Oh, and yeah, we got to move it 2 for that. 4 minutes left in the quarter. That is a 3. That's a 3-end run on the Houston defense. That's going to be big, I can tell you right now. It's a short gain. And it's a 10, which is like 10, 12 yards maybe. Yeah, 12-yard gain for OJ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's 1st and 10 from the first and 10 from the Houston 14-yard line. And they're going to try a short pass to the tight end. This is like maybe only the second pass, I think, that Ferguson has tried. That's going to be a 2-10 with the defense being wrong. On short pass, it'll be 10 yards, but possible offensive penalty will roll for that. It's a 6. There is none, so it is a 10-yard gain, and they have it 1st and 10, Buffalo does, at the Oilers' 4-yard line. And there's 3 minutes left. They're going to go line buck with the fullback. That's Braxton. Already has a touchdown, but it's going to be a 5. They're right on the line buck. Line buck 5, fumble -1, 2 to 8 or 12. He fumbles. It's a 9. He doesn't, but he does lose a yard. So 2nd and goal from the 5. They're going to go off tackle with O.J. Simpson. That is a 10. They're on the defense off tackle. 1 yard. He just gets the 1 yard that Braxton lost back. And it's going to be 3rd and goal. 2:30 left. And they're going to go line buck with the fullback Braxton again. And he gets a 4 this time. Line buck 4, and they were wrong, but there's a possible defensive penalty. We'll check that out in a minute. But it would be a touchdown. Let's see if there was a defensive penalty, though. 2 offsetting penalties. So there's offsetting penalties on the play, which means that they get the... I don't know what happens there. Anyway, we're at the 2-minute warning, so time isn't going to move on this. But offsetting penalties, I think it just goes back. It's still 3rd down, so it's 3rd and goal again. And they're going to go off tackle with OJ. You got to figure they're going to get it in there one of these times. And that's going to be a 9. Let's see if they were right or wrong. Possible offensive penalty, too. But it's a 2-9 on OJ. Maybe we don't even have to check it. Off tackle 9. We don't have to check it because it would be 5 yards even if they were right. So it's a touchdown. It's just a matter of what the penalty is. Offensive penalty on the Bills, possibly. Offsides. So the Bills were offsides on that. So they lose that, and we're back to 3rd down again. We don't move it because that was the 2-minute warning. And this time they're going to try a short pass to the tight end. They're done with the running backs. The running backs have proven that they can't get it in from there right there. So that's a 6. And they're right on the short pass. And it's going to be incomplete. That brings up 4th down. And that will move it to. And they're going to try a field goal from the 9-yard line. And from the 9, A field goal is 2 to 10 good. All right, well, yeah, that's a good odds. And it is. So they get 17. And it is 17-0. Possession will go back to the Oilers. They will kick off. That is a 3. That's a, let's see what that is kind of for a kickoff. -2 in the end zone. The Oilers will take it on the 20. First and 10 on the 20-yard line. Yeah, first and 10. And it moves 1 on the kickoff. And they're going to try an end run with their halfback. You know what? They're going to go off tackle. They're going to go off tackle with the fullback. I don't think they've tried him yet. And that is going to be a 10. Wrong. Possible defensive penalty. It's 4 yards, but let's see if there's a defensive penalty on the Bills. 10. Number 1, there is a penalty. And the penalty came on a running play. And it's going to be first personal foul 15 yards from the concluding line of scrimmage after the play. So he got 4 yards, and then it's going to be 15 more. So 10 and 5, and it's going to be first and 10 at the 39, and the Oilers will call a timeout here. And they're going to go long to the flanker. Now, I'm not going to do the right or wrong because the Bills, that's what the Bills are looking for. They're looking for passes here. 7 on a long pass by Pastorini is a must run if they are, well, they were looking for the pass, so yeah, must run. That is a 7. That's going to be 7-yard pickup for Pastorini. And they got a 2nd and 3. And they called the timeout, so time doesn't move on that play. And they're going to try it again. They're going to go long this time to the split end. And that is a 3 long, guessing right. And that's incomplete. And they're going to use their 3rd timeout. And they're going to go long to the flanker. Well, they'll try short to the flanker. They're going to go short to the flanker to try to get the first down. And that's going to be a 9. And short 9 is incomplete. So it's 4th down for Houston. Time didn't move on that. They have to punt. And it's a 2. The punt is a 2. And that's going to be 63 back 2. So the Bills will just take it on the 20. It goes into the end zone. They'll take it on the 20. And nothing moved there because it was a punt, not a kickoff. And they're going to go off tackle. The Bills will. The Bills have possession now. They're going to go off tackle with the halfback. And that's O.J. Simpson, of course. And the Oilers would be just looking for the run. They're not going to look for the pass. That is a 6. 6 off tackle is 5 yards. So it's 2nd and 5. 1:07 left. They're going to go end run with the fullback. They're going to try the fullback end running. That is a 12. End run 12 on Braxton is 0 yards since they were looking for it. It's going to be 3rd and 5. 52 seconds left in the first quarter. They're going to go long. They're going to go long to the flanker with Houston looking for the run because they're trying to, you know, run down the clock and just get to the second quarter. That is a 9. Long pass 9 on Houston is -8 and a sack. It's going to be 4th down. 37 seconds left. They're going to punt, so the possession will go back to Houston. That is an 8. 8 on the punt is 41 yards back 1. 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, and back it off 2. Houston returning from their 42-yard line. And let's see. Yeah. And that's a 5, which is a fair catch. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Oilers right there. They're out of timeouts, and they're only going to be looking for the pass. They're going to go long to the split end. So Pastorini dropping back and throwing it long. He gets a 10, and 10 is going to be incomplete. .22 seconds left. They're going to go long to the flanker. That's going to be a 9, long. And that's going to be incomplete. 8 seconds left. They're going to go long to the split end. They got to try to get something here. Long to the split end 6. Long pass 6 on Buffalo's defense is a short. Oh, wait a minute. No. It's intercepted. 2 to 7 or 12. 8. It isn't intercepted, but it is incomplete, and it will bring up 4th down. And this play will run out the half, so they're just going to go long. They're going to, on 4th down, they're going to go long. Long to the flanker, or it'll run out the quarter. That is a 5. Long pass 5 is a must run. And that is a 4, which is 10 yards. And he gets a 10-yard pickup. Scrambling and running, but that's going to be it. The first quarter is over, and at the end of the first quarter, it is 17-0 Bills. All right, well, let's get underway here with the second quarter. The Houston Oilers still have the ball. At the end of the first quarter, I was thinking again that it was the end of the half, and that's why I went for the 4th down. But as it turns out, it was a 4th and 10, and Pastorini got a 10-yard run on a must run. So Houston still luckily has possession of the ball. So they are going to, with a 1st and 10, they're going to go end run with their halfback. And again, that's Willie Rogers. And he gets a 7 end run on the Buffalo defense, which I got to imagine isn't very good. That is 2 yards. So Willie Rogers gets 2 yards. And we move that we move the timer 2. So he has the Houston Oilers have a 2nd and 8 from the Buffalo 46-yard line. And they are going to throw a flat pass to the tight end. And there's a possible defensive penalty, and it's a 3. And we have to see if they were looking for it. But let's see if we even have to consider that. We don't have to consider that because it's a short game whether they were looking for it or not. But let's see, first of all, before I even mark that off, let's see if there was a defensive penalty. That is a 6. And that is no penalty. So it is a short gain. We'll roll for the short gain. And that is an 8. 8 on short gain is 14 yards. So 1, 10, and 3. And it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Buffalo 32-yard line. And they're going to go short pass to the split end because running really has not been working this game for Houston. And that's going to be a 9. Short pass 9 on the Buffalo defense is receiver. And that's the split end. And they are not looking for it. There's a possible defensive penalty as well. But we'll see if the split end can make this catch. It's a short pass. That's an 11, and that would be 13 yards. But let's see if there's a defensive penalty on Buffalo. 8, there isn't. So it is going to be 13 yards. 2, 10, 11, and now, all of a sudden, Houston seems to be able to move the ball. Kind of strange. They couldn't do anything in the first quarter, and now in the second quarter, they're doing everything. They're going to go end run with their halfback. I know he hasn't gotten a lot of yards, but they're going to do it anyway. Oh, that's going to be a possible fumble. Let's see. We got to check out whether they were looking for it or not. So let me get my chart out. And this is a 1st and 10, so 1 to 6, they're looking for the pass. They were looking for the pass. Buffalo was looking for the pass, so it was end run, halfback 5, and it's going to be fumble 0-2. And he does not fumble, but he gets 0 yards. 11 minutes left in the first quarter, and it's that wasn't second down. No, so now it is second. It's 2nd and 10, I think now, and they're going to go short pass to the split end. Back to the pass for Houston. 8. They're wrong. And, yeah. And 8 is going to be receiver. So, again, we've got a receiver, and this time it is a split end again. 8 on a split end is going to be 12 yards. So that's 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it's going to be 1st and goal for Houston. My, how their fortunes have changed here in the second quarter. They're going to go line buck with their fullback. And that is going to be a possible offensive penalty, but it's a 6 line buck with the fullback. And it's they weren't looking for it. It would be 1 yard, but let's see if there was an offensive penalty. 8 on Houston, no. So they get 1 yard. So it's 2nd and goal. Yeah, now it's 2nd and goal. That was they already gotten the first down. Oh, no, they didn't. I don't think they did. So, yeah, so now it's 3rd and goal. 3rd and goal, and they're going to go short pass to the tight end this time. And that is going to be a 9 short pass, possible defensive penalty. 9 is receiver again. Their tight end And the tight end, as I said, is Elvin Reed. He gets a 7, and that's going to be incomplete. But let's see if there was a defensive penalty on Buffalo. 8? No, there wasn't. So that brings up the 4th down. They're going to kick the field goal from the 6-yard line, since we're only in the second quarter, early second quarter. From the 6-yard line, it's going to be... it's going to be 2 to 8 or 12 good. And it is. So the Oilers do get on the board, in part because I made the mistake of thinking that they were at the end of the half when they were at the end of the quarter. So they're going to kick off. And I think I probably missed another timing on the play. So there's 9:30 left, and they're going to kick off. 3 on the kickoff is going to be a touchback. So they don't even get the... Buffalo doesn't even get the chance to run it or anything. It's a touchback. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line for Buffalo. And we got to switch the possession back at 17-3. And Ferguson's going to come out, and he's going to go long to the flanker. He wants to see if he can get in on this long pass action. He gets a 10 on a long pass when they're not looking for it. 10 long pass is 30 yards, not looking for it. 10, 20, 30. And why would they be looking for it? Because they have O.J. Simpson on this team. 7 minutes left, and they got a first down. They got another first down. Now they're going to go end run with Simpson. He gets a 10, not looking for it, and a possible defensive penalty. So that's all good for Buffalo. Would be 9 yards, but let's see if there's a defensive penalty. 4. 4 is opponent number 3. So this is going to be on Buffalo. Opponent number 3, and they were running 5. Holding 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 2nd and 20 for them. Oh, I was supposed to... Okay, hold on. There's 8:30 left. No. Did I go all the way? I didn't go all the way to the end here. Yeah, this clock has me all screwed up. I'm going to say there's 8:45 left. No. We're going to say there's 11 minutes. We're back to 11 minutes. I don't know. I just have to, it's just, this is the first time using the game, this setup. It's an awesome setup. It's an awesome board, but it's my first time using this, and it's the first time in a while that I've played Strat-O-Matic football for the channel, so bear with me. I'm setting the clock to 11 minutes. You know, you see the referees do that kind of stuff all the time. So there's going to be a 2nd and 20. And, yeah, 2nd and 20. They're going to go short to the split end. Buffalo is. And that is a 7. Short pass 7. And it's going to be a must run for Joe Ferguson. A young Joe Ferguson. And he gets 18 yards. 18-yard run. My God, he almost made up the entire thing. 10, 5, 3. So it's going to be a 3rd down. 3rd and 2. So they're going to go line buck with the fullback on 3rd and 2. 8, and they were right. So that's going to be Jim Braxton, line buck, 8 right is -1. They lost a yard. So they have a decision again to make. They're going to punt the ball because they've got still a healthy lead. That's an 11. That's not a bad punt for where they are. 31 back 1. So 3, 10, 20, 30, and back it off 3. Houston is returning from the 13-yard line. Back number 1, and we're going to have to change the possession because they've got it now. 10. 10 is going to be a +3. They get you 3 yards on the return. It's going to be 1st and 10 from their 15 for Houston. And Pastorini's going to go long. He's going long to the flanker. He's done this before. He did it in the first quarter. 7 long on their defense, on the Buffalo defense. And it's going to be -8. He gets sacked. They didn't need that. What they did not need was that. So they're going to go short pass to the split end because they got to try to get out of this hole that they just created for themselves. 6 short pass, possible offensive penalty, and the defense was wrong. It's going to be 10 yards, but let's see if there was an offensive penalty on Houston. 4. Opponent number 3. And this was a pass. So let's see what it was on Buffalo. Let's see. Why does it only go to... Anyway, I don't know. Let's see. 5. And all pass attempt situation defense. Roughing the passer 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage and a 1st down. So that's going to be 3, 10, and 2, and they get a 1st down from it. Back to a 1st down. 9:30 left in the second quarter. They're going to go end run with their halfback. Tried this guy several times. He hasn't really panned out yet, but he gets a 10, and that's going to be a 10 on an end run on the Buffalo defense. That's 9 yards. So he comes through big there. So they got a 2nd and 1 now. And they're going to try the line buck with the fullback. Oh, he gets a 5 again. And they were right. Line buck 5, right, is a fumble, -1, 2 or 12. Just 2 or 12. He doesn't fumble, but he does lose a yard. So now it is 3rd and 3, and they're going to go flat pass to the tight end. And that is an 8 flat pass. That's receiver. They're going to the tight end. And they were right. 5 tight end right. It is still 12 yards. Nice pickup. So now all of a sudden, Houston in this half, they've gotten their mojo back. They never had it, but now they do seem to. 8:30 left in the quarter. We're going to go end run with a halfback. He gets a 9 on their end run, the Buffalo end run, and that's -1. So that's going to be 2nd and 9. They're going to go flat pass to the tight end. That is a 7 on flat pass, and it's 5 yards. So they have a 3rd and 6 coming up. 8 minutes left in the quarter. They're going to go short to the split end. This passing game for Houston is picking up. That is a 6 short pass. That is probably not good, but there's a possible defensive penalty. Oh, it is, actually. It's 14 yards, but let's see if there was a defensive penalty. 8, and I don't think there is. No, so it's 14 yards. That's going to give Houston, that's going to give the Oilers a 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 40. 7:30 left in the half. And they're going to, Pastorini just can't stand it anymore. He's going to go long to the flanker, see if they can get it all back. 5 long pass on the Buffalo defense is incomplete. So that was a 1st down. So this is 2nd and 10. And now there is 7 minutes left in the half. They're going to go end run with the halfback. That is a 9, end run. -1 yard. So now they got a 3rd and 11 coming up. Not good. 6:30 in the quarter. They're going to go back to the short pass. They're going to go short to the split end. Pastorini's been coming through this half. 9. Possible defensive penalty. And they were right. So it's incomplete. But let's see if there was a defensive penalty that keeps this drive going. It's a 3. And 3 on the penalty card is opponent number 5. So this is going to be on Houston. Let's see. Pass. Seven. And that's going to be, what was this, a pass attempt? It was an incomplete pass, so it's going to be intentional grounding, 10 yards from the original line of scrimmage, plus loss of down. So they're in their own territory now, and they're going to punt the ball. The punt is a 7. And that's going to be 42 yards back, number 1. 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1. They're returning from the 4. And back, number 1. That is a 10. That's going to be a fumble 0. 2 to 6 or 12, they recover. They don't. Houston recovers the fumbled kickoff by the Bills. And so they still have possession. And now they are down at the 4-yard line. They're going to do a line buck with their fullback. And that is going to be a 3 right on line buck. And it's going to be 2 yards. So now it's 2nd and goal from the 2. They're going to go short pass to the split end because the rules of the game say you can't do a flat pass down this close. That is a 9. Short pass, 9. That's going to be receiver. And it's going to the split end. That is a 4. That's incomplete. It's incomplete either way. All right, 5:30 left. They're going to do a line buck with the fullback. And that is an 8, and they're wrong, and there's a possible defensive penalty. 8 line buck is 1 yard, but let's see if there's a defensive penalty. 7, there isn't, so they get 1 yard. And now they've got a 3rd and goal from the 1. 5 minutes left in the quarter. 3rd and 1. God, what do you call here? They're going to go line buck again, but now with the halfback. And that is an 8 line buck. And that's 2 yards and a touchdown. And let's see if Houston can get the extra point. They miss on 11. They don't. So now they've got 10. And now the score is 17-10. Now all of a sudden this is a game. We got a game on our hands. With 4:30 left. They kick off and it's an 8 to the 3, number 2. So Buffalo will catch it at the 3, and their number 2 back is going to return it. Now this is the guy that had the touchdown. Or wait a minute, no, that was on a punt. This is a 12, though. It's on the Houston special teams card. And kickoff return is, no, I didn't have to roll that. It's 19 yards. So out to the 22 for Buffalo, where they will go 1st and 10 from the 22. That was a kickoff, so we move it 1. 4:15 left in the half. They'll go end run with their halfback, O.J. Simpson. And that's going to be an 8, and we have to see if they were right or wrong, but anyway, let's see if that even matters. 8 end run is, yeah, it'll matter. So let me get my 20-sider out here. 12, that's going to be, they were looking for the run. So 8 end run, looking for it, 2 yards. So that's going to be a 2nd and 8. 3:45 left. They're going to go short to the split end. Short pass to the split end, 9. And that's receiver. Split end is Lou Piccone. That's an 8. And 8 is going to be 15 yards. So they get a 1st down. 1st and 10 for Buffalo at their own 40 or 39-yard line. 3:15 left. They're going to go off tackle with their fullback. I can get a hold of the dice. That's going to be a 6 on the off tackle. Possible offensive penalty. 5 yard. It would be 5 yards, but let's see if there's an offensive penalty on Buffalo. 9. Opponent was offsides. So that's actually going to be 5 yards. And it's going to be a 1st and 5. And 1st and 5, they're going to go end run with OJ. And of course, this whole time, Buffalo had the ball. I forgot to change it. 4, end run 4 when they're right on OJ. And it's going to be 4 yards. So they got a 2nd and 1. 2nd and 1, they're going to air it out because, you know, they're pretty confident they can probably get this if they have to on 3rd down. 8, long pass, and 9, whether they're looking for it or not, it's 3rd and 1. 1 to 7 would be a pass. They're not. They're looking for the run. They're looking for the run, and the roll is an 8 on Ferguson's card for a long pass, and it's going to be incomplete. So they've got a third. Now they've got a 3rd and 1, and now they're going to go line buck with the halfback O.J. Simpson. And he gets a 2. Man. Line buck 2, but they were right. He still gets 5 yards on a 1st down. So it's 1st and 10 for Buffalo from the 47-yard line of Houston. Minute 37 left in the quarter. They're going to go end run with OJ. They're just working him like a rented mule. 5. That's going to be, they're not looking for it, but it's going to be a possible fumble. 5 is fumble negative weight. And they weren't looking for it. Fumble 0, 2 to 7. He did fumble 2 to 6 or 12. They get it back. They don't. Houston picks the ball up right there. And now Houston has possession. And now I will switch that back to Houston. And 1:22 left. They're going to go end run with the halfback. 8 end run right. And there's a possible offensive penalty too. Well, that would be -8, but let's see if there was an offensive penalty. 7. There wasn't, but he did lose 8 yards, which is not good. So it's going to be 2nd down. 2nd down, they're going to go short to the split end. And that's a 3, short pass on Buffalo. It's incomplete. 3rd down and a lot. They're going to go long. They're airing it out. Pastorini's done it before. He can do it again. 4, long pass on the Buffalo defense is a long gain. And they're going to roll that bad boy. And that's an 8, long gain. Oh, boy. I don't want to mess that up. Long gain 8 is 41 yards. 1, 10, 20, 30, 40. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for Houston at the Buffalo 20. They could tie this game up, folks, at least. They're going to go end run with their fullback, not the halfback, because that guy has not been doing anything in this game. That is a 7 end run. It's going to be 2 yards. They've got a 2nd and 8. They're going to call a timeout right now. And now I'm right in calling a timeout because it is going to be the end of the half. Short pass to the halfback. And that is an 8. Short pass on Pastorini and they were right. Possible defensive penalty, though. So if they're right, that's incomplete. But let's see if there was a defensive penalty. 10. Number 1, there was. So let's see. And they were passing? Yeah, they were passing. And it was incomplete. Pass interference. And it was a short pass, so it's going to be 15 yards, right? Is that right? Yep, 15-yard penalty. And a first down. And they were at the... Yeah, they're down to the 3. 1st and goal from the 3. They called the timeout, so time doesn't move on that, and it's going to be first down. And they're going to go short pass again. Pastorini, this half, he's been magic. He's going to go short to the split end. And he gets an 8. And that's going to be... They were not looking for it. So it's going to be receiver. And they were going to the split end. And that's a 7. That's going to be probably incomplete, and it is. And again, time didn't move because they called their second time out. So now they have a 2nd and goal. Or maybe it's 3rd and goal. It might be 3rd and goal now. And they are going to go off tackle with the fullback. Off tackle wrong. That's going to be 5 yards and a touchdown, Houston. And we're going to see if they make the extra point. They do. And so now Houston has tied this game. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, because they kicked the field goal, they got a touchdown, and now they got another touchdown. So it's 17-17, and they're going to kick off. And it's a 6, and yeah, time didn't move because that was their last time out. 6 is going to be to the 7-yard line, number 1. Let me see here. 7... Yeah, 7-yard line, number 1. And that is a 9. That's going to be 19 yards, so it's out to the 26. Going to be 1st and 10 for Buffalo at the 26. Time does move on that. They're not going to call a timeout, though. It's a tie game. They'll be happy to go into the half with a tie. They're going to go end run with O.J. Simpson. And that is an 8. End run 8 is 2 yards. Eight seconds left. They're going to go off tackle with the fullback. And they were right, and it's a 6. Off tackle 6. 3 yards. And this is going to be the last play right here. They'll go long to the flanker. Again, this is really the end of the half, so they can do that. 4 long pass on the Houston defense is incomplete. And so that is going to be your score at halftime, 17-17. The 1977 Bills with 17 points and the 1972 Oilers with 17 points. Hello, sports fans and football fans. It's me, Sportsman Z. Bob Zolke. We're back for the second half of this game between the 1977 Buffalo Bills and the 1972 Houston Oilers. The two teams are currently locked in a 17-17 tie, with the Bills having scored 17 points in the first quarter and allowing none, and the Oilers scoring 17 points in the second quarter and allowing none. So that's where we are. We're going to get underway with this. First, I want to do a shout out to Dave Gardner, who is out of the hospital recently, recovering from a stroke, and we wish Dave all the best. He gave me a very high compliment, saying that he listens to my football games quite a bit. So this football game is dedicated to Dave, and get well soon, Dave. But here we go with the second half. Now, in the first half, the Oilers deferred to the Bills and kicked off to the Bills. So now the Oilers will be kicked off to here as we start the third quarter of the game. And it's going to be an 11 on the kickoff by Buffalo. So we'll see what that results in. It's a fair catch. Or wait, no, that's a punt. That's punt return. Fumble, 14 yards. So the Oilers take the kickoff, but they fumble it. Oh, no, wait. No, this is, all right, no. This is all right, never mind. It's 11 on the kickoff. It's 0 yards in end zone, back number 1. So they're just going to take it on the 20. So that's where we are. The Oilers have the ball on the 20. I got a little confused there with what was going on, but the Oilers will be 1st and 10 from their own 20. And the first play they're going to do is off tackle with their fullback. And they're wrong. Well, it doesn't matter. It's on the defense card. So it's on the 8 off tackle for Buffalo, which is 4 yards. So we move it we moved it 1 for the kickoff, and then we move it 2 for the first play. And we have a 2nd and 6 for the Oilers. And they are going to do a flat pass to the tight end. And that is going to be an 8, but they're right. So 8 on flat pass is receiver one way or the other, but we'll have to see what the tight end can come up with when they're right. And that is a 10, and it's incomplete because they were right. So we move it another 2, and it is 3rd and 6 for Houston. And they are they're going to try a line buck with their fullback. Again, excuse the coughing or sniffling occasionally. I'm trying to get over a cold. That is going to be a 10 on line buck, on the Buffalo line buck card, and it's 3 yards. So they have a 4th and 3 coming up. They are going to punt. We're in a tie game. And they can ill afford to just give Buffalo the ball right there. So they're going to punt the ball, and it's an 8 on the punt, which is 41 back. What is it? 41 back 1. So 3, 10, 20, 30, 40 and back it off 2. And the Bills will be returning the ball from their own 32-yard line. We'll roll the bones, and it's a 12, and it's going to be on the kick return card for Houston, and that is going to be a 19-yard return. Wow. 3, 10, and they are in Houston territory. So let me try. I got to remember to change the possession here. The Bills have the ball 1st and 10 at the Houston 49-yard line. And they're going to do an end run, and it's going to be O.J. Simpson. You know that. And there's a possible offensive penalty, and they were right. So 12 end run on Simpson is 4 yards, but let's see if there was an offensive penalty. 10. Number 1, yeah, there was. So let me get that. Clipping. So it's 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage. So 10, 15. So now they've got a bad situation here. They've got a second and 25. And I don't know what you do with that. They're going to go short to the split end. Short pass to the split end. They're right, and it's a possible offensive penalty again. This time 12 is going to be... it would be a 12-yard gain, but we have to see if there was an offensive penalty. And that is a 7. There wasn't. So they do get 12 yards. 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they made up a lot of that, which is good. Good for them. Not so good for Houston. And so now they have a... looks like a 3rd and 13. And they're going to do that again, except they're going to go to the flanker. They're doing a short pass to the flanker. And that is going to be a 5, and they're wrong. But that's still incomplete. So, the Bills will punt on 4th down. Possession will switch back to the Oilers. Let me make sure I do that. It's a 4 on the punt, which is going to be 50 yards and back 2 receiving it. So back 2 is going to receive this ball at the 2-yard line, or at the 3-yard line. And we'll see what they do. Back number 2, although they only have 1. And that is a 9, and it's a fair catch. They really did not need that. So Houston will go to work at their own 3-yard line. And they have a 1st down. And they're going to go end run with their halfback. This guy has not been very successful this game, but they have to, they have to maintain appearances here. 2-9. Possible defensive penalty, but they were right. And it's going to be, well, it'll be 5 yards, pending the outcome of the defensive penalty, which is a 7, and there's no penalty at all. And they come up with 5 yards. So on 2nd and 5, they are going to do a short pass to the split end. And that is a 7 possible offensive penalty, though. But 7 on the short pass on Buffalo's defense is incomplete. So we're going to move it to, and let's see if there was an offensive penalty. 12. There wasn't. So it's 3rd and 5 from their own 8-yard line. Not a great situation for them. They are going to go off tackle with their fullback. And that's going to be a 7 off tackle, possible offensive penalty. 7 would be 2 yards, but let's see if there's an offensive penalty. 9. Opponent is offsides. So that's going to be 5 yards and a first down. So they luck out there. They would have had to punt, but now they got a first down and 10 at their own 13, Houston does. And they're going to come out and go long. Now, Pastorini's done this, and he's done it with a little bit of success so far this game. Let's see if he can do it again. 7, and they were right with a possible offensive penalty. Okay, so 7 is a must run. Let's see what he would get. 2. He would get 17 yards on that bad boy. But let's see if there was an offensive penalty. 8. There isn't. So he gets 17 yards. And they're going to go to work 1st and 10 at their own 30. So they've worked out of the shadow of their own end zone quite nicely so far. And they're going to go end run with their halfback again. Again, they try to get him moving. He's got some yards, but 10, and they're right. End run 10 right is still 5 yards. This guy's getting some yards even when the Bills are looking for the run. So we have a 2nd and 5 coming up. They're going to go off tackle with their fullback. Keep the ball on the ground. Keep grinding it out. That is an 11 off tackle, right? Off tackle 11 on the defense card. Possible offensive penalty. It'll be 3 yards, but let's see if there is an offensive penalty. 2. Offsetting penalty. So it's just going to be a replay of 2nd down. Of 2nd and 5. So they're going to go long to the flanker on 2nd and 5. That is a 7 long pass, possible offensive penalty again. It's going to be a sack for -8, but let's see if there was an offensive penalty that the Bills would rather have. No, it's offsetting penalties again. So it's going to be 2nd and 5 yet again. This time they're going to go end run with the halfback. 8:30 left in the third quarter. That is a 9. Possible offensive penalty again. I hate this. I hate these things. But anyway, 9 offensive on an end run for the halfback. It'll be 5 yards, even though they were right, if there's no offensive penalty. 8, there isn't. So he does get 5 yards, and finally, they get a first down. So first down, and, finally without the offsetting penalties or any type of penalty. So they got a 1st and 10 now, Houston does, from their own 40. And Pastorini's going to go long again, long to the flanker. And that's going to be a 9 long pass. It's going to be incomplete. Incomplete pass for Pastorini. It's 2nd and 10. He's going to go off tackle with the fullback is what Houston is going to do. And that is a 5, off tackle 5. And that's going to be a possible fumble and also an offensive penalty, of course. Possible offensive penalty. Off tackle 5, fumble -1, 2 to 4 or 12. There is a fumble, 2 to 6 or 12, they would get it back. They don't. So we'll see what the offensive penalty is, but unless it's on Buffalo or offsetting, it's going to be a problem. No, they did fumble the ball, and there is no penalty. And so Buffalo is going to take over. We're going to switch the possession back to Buffalo. And 7 minutes are now left in the third quarter. Buffalo with the ball at the Houston 40. And now Ferguson's going to take a play from the Houston playbook, and he's going to go long to his flanker on first down. Buffalo hasn't had possession of the ball very much so far in this third quarter. It's an 8. Long pass 8. And that's going to be a receiver. And they are going to the flanker, and the flanker is Big Bob Chandler, my buddy's favorite one on this. And they were right, though, so it is incomplete. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's incomplete. So that takes us down to 6:30 in the third quarter left to play, and it is going to be a 2nd and 10 for Buffalo. They're going to go end run with OJ. Bring out the OJ. That is an 8 end run. Possible offensive penalty, of course. 0 yards, it would be. Going to move the clock, and let's see if there was an offensive penalty on Buffalo. 8. There was not. So we will go to the next play, which is going to be a 3rd and 10. Buffalo now has a 3rd and 10. They're going to go short to the split end. Short pass to the split end 5. And that's going to be a receiver. And we will roll for the receiver. That's going to be the split end. And it is a 7, and that's probably incomplete. It is. 5:30 left, and they got a decision to make here. They're in no man's land because they can't really kick a field goal from the 40. But they also don't really want to punt and put it in the end, take a chance, put it in the end zone. They're going to go for it. Buffalo is going for it right now. They're pulling their, they're pulling themselves up by their bootstraps and saying, let's go for this. It's going to be a short pass to the flanker. And that is a 5 short pass, and it's wrong, but it's still incomplete. So that's going to be a change of possession right there. Turnover on downs. Houston takes over at their own 40. The Bills gambled there, and they lost. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's still 17-all here. And they're going to go end run with the halfback, Houston will. I mean, the guy has gotten yardage even when they were right, so why not keep going to him? They're wrong here, and he gets a 3 on the end run. What is that gonna be? It's not big as you would think. It's only 6 yards. But it is 6 yards, so they did gain some yardage. They have a 2nd and 4 now. They're going to go flat pass to the tight end, Houston will. Trying to get out of their own end of the field and into Buffalo's end. 7, flat pass. Let's see if they're looking for it. They would, I don't know. This is a 2nd and 10. 2nd and 4. So 2nd and 4. 1 to 6 pass. So they are not looking for, they're looking for the run. So this is a flat pass 9. It's going to be receiver. So they were throwing it to the tight end. 9 is going to be 11 yards on a first down. So now Houston has it 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 43-yard line. And they're back to a first down. There's 4 minutes left in the third quarter. They're going to go short to the split end now. Short to the split end, 9. Possible defensive penalty, but they were right. So short 9 is going to be incomplete, but let's see if there was a defensive penalty. 12. There was not. So that is just an incomplete pass. 3:30 left in the third quarter. They're going to go end run with their halfback again. And that's a 7, but they were right. So end run 7 right is -6. This guy will lose some yards if the defense is right, quite a bit. Though he has made yardage when they were right. 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and I think this is, 2nd and like 16. So they're going to go short to the split end. They got to start passing to get out of this and get down deeper into the Buffalo end. 9, and they're wrong, I'm going to say. 9, short pass is incomplete. 2:30 left. They're going to go, you know what? They're going to air it out. They're going to go long to the flanker. So a long pass to the flanker that Pastorini's going to try, and that is a 12. Possible offensive penalty, of course. And it's incomplete because they were right. Let's see if there's an offensive penalty. And that is a 6, and there isn't. So that's going to bring up 3rd and a lot. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And 3rd and 16. They're going to go short to the split end, try to higher percentage pass. And that is going to be an 8. Short pass 8 on the Buffalo defense. And it's -8. Pastorini gets sacked. So no question here, they're going to punt. 1:45 left in the third quarter. And the punt is a 9, again by Pastorini. And that's going to be a 39 back 1. 39-yard punt. 2, 10, 20, 30, and 7. And then Buffalo is returning the ball from their own 13-yard line. And back number 1. 7, that's going to be on the punt return specialist card for Houston, and it is going to be 8 yards. So it's 1st and 10 for Buffalo now. We're going to change the possession again. Got to remember to do that. It's 1st and 10 for Buffalo from their own 21. And they're going to go to O.J. Simpson again. Got to rely on O.J. And a possible offensive penalty, it's a 5, so he's a possible fumble, and they're wrong, end run 5. When they are wrong, it's a fumble 0, 2-7. Let's see if he fumbles. He does not, so he didn't fumble the ball, but let's see if there's an offensive penalty on Buffalo, and there isn't. So it's a 0-yard gain. A minute 30 is left in the third quarter. 2nd and 10. They're going to go off tackle with their fullback. So this is going to be Jim Braxton going off tackle 2. Off tackle 2. They were right, though. but there's possible offensive penalty, and it's only going to be 2 if they were right. So let's see if there's an offensive penalty. 7, there isn't, so he gets 2 yards. But the Houston defense was looking for that. Minute 15 left in the third quarter. And now we got a 3rd and 8 for, I believe we've got a 3rd and 8 for the Bills here. Yeah, it's just sometimes I don't keep up really accurately with the downs. But anyway, we're going to say it's a 3rd and 8, and they're going to try a flat pass to the tight end on 3rd and 8. And that's going to be an 11 flat pass on the Houston defense. And it's negative 1 yard. So they're going to have to punt. And possession will, for the moment, go back to the Oilers unless they fumble the punt. The punt by Buffalo is 46 yards to back 2. 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 3. They are returning it, Houston is, from their own 32-yard line. The number 2 back, he gets a 5. There's only one of them anyway, and it's a fair catch. So Houston is going to go into, because they're going to go to work from their own 32-yard line. First down. And Pastorini's coming out and he's going long. He's going long. They're trying to do something. This third quarter has been scoreless. And they're right, but it's a 10 long pass on the Buffalo defense. Is a receiver. And let's see, 3. They're going to the flanker. 3 is 29 yards. So it pays off for Pastorini. 3, 10, 20, 5, and 1. And they're going to go to work on the 39-yard line of Buffalo. But there's only a minute left. They're going to call their first timeout. They're going to go short to the well, yeah, that's timeouts in the half. I don't think they don't need to call a timeout. They're not going to call a timeout. They're going to go short to the flanker because I keep thinking that this is going to be the end of the half or the end of the game or whatever, but no, it's just going to be the end of the third quarter. Short pass 8, possible offensive penalty. That's a negative 8. That's a sack. And 5 is offsides, but they would take the sack. So that's going to set them back right there. 45 seconds left in the third quarter, and they have a second and a long. And they're going to go long again now. They're going to go long to the split end. Not that they have to. This is only the end of the third quarter coming up, but they want to get a quick score here. It's a 6. And possible offensive penalty, of course. It is, let's see if they were looking for it. 12 on second and forever. Yes, 1 to 12, so they were looking for the pass, so it's incomplete. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. And now they have a 3rd and long. Now they got to try to go long to the flanker. And that's going to be a 6, and they're right. 6 long is intercepted 35 yards downfield, 2 to 7 or 12. And it is. So that's going to be an interception by Buffalo. 3, 10, 20, and 4. And let's see what happens on the interception return. We got to roll for that. That is a 10, and that's going to be 13 yards on the interception return. So 4, 10, back it off 1, and Buffalo is going to go to work on their own 33-yard line. 15 seconds left in the quarter. They're going to go end run with the halfback, OJ. And that is going to be a 9 end run. And let's see what they get on that. No yards. 1 second left. So this is the last play of the third quarter. It's 2nd and 10. And they're going to go flat pass to the tight end. Flat to the tight end, 5. Possible offensive penalty. It's going to be 5 yards. But let's see if there was an offensive penalty on that. That is a 10. It is number 7. And number 7 on a pass is going to be illegal procedure and 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. So they're going to have a 2nd and 15 when we start the fourth quarter. Hello, football fans. We're back for the fourth quarter. The fourth and final quarter with the Bills and the Oilers tied at 17 apiece. And the Bills are facing a something like a 2nd and 15 or something. And because I don't remember, I record these quarters independently. And so anyway, it looks like a 2nd and 15 for the Bills. And they are going to do an end run with OJ. And that's going to be a 5. It's a possible fumble. They're wrong, but it's not going to be a lot of yards for him. Let's see. End run 5. 0 yards, 2 to 7 he fumbles. He does not. But he gets 0 yards. 14:30 left, and it's 3rd and 15, and they're going to go short pass to the split end. Short to the split end, 9 on their Houston defense is a receiver, but they're right. So the split end is Lou Piccone. And he rolls a 4, and that's incomplete. So it's going to be 4th down. They're going to punt the ball, obviously. You're in a 17-17 all game, and all of a sudden the scoring is dried up. The punt is going to be 35 yards to back 1. So 1, 10, 20, 30, and 4. And back 1 is going to be for Houston is Ken Houston, ironically. And he will be returning it from the 36-yard line. And that is an 8, and that's on the Bills' special team return card. And that's going to be 22 yards on a punt return. That's crazy. All right, 4, 10, 19, 20, 21, 22. And Ken Houston all of a sudden has the Houston Oilers in a good position here. We're going to do the change of possession. And here we are in the fourth quarter. So they're going to come out and do a long pass to the flanker. That's the first thing they're going to do. That's their first thought. Pastorini has done that a couple of times this game, and let's see if it works for him now. It's going to be an 8 on their Buffalo's long pass defense, which is receiver, But they are right, but let's see if that matters. The flanker is Ken Burrow. And Ken Burrow rolls a 9, and that's going to get him, what is this, a long pass? That's going to get him nothing. That's going to get him a whole lot of nothing. Let me see. Yep. So that's going to be an incomplete pass. And that is going to result in second down for them. That was first down. So the 2nd and 10, they're going to go in, run with their halfback. I mean, at this point, you got to think they just need to get into field goal range, maybe. That is a 9 and a possible defensive penalty, and they were wrong. So 9 on the end run is going to be 6 yards, but let's see if there's a defensive penalty too and check that out, and maybe that's better for them. 8, it would not be. So that is a 6-yard gain. And they got a 3rd and 4 coming up for Houston. 3rd and 4, they're going to go flat to the tight end. Flat to the tight end. Possible offensive penalty. It is a 9. 9 is receiver. And that is the tight end. The tight end is Elvin Reed. And they were wrong. I think they were wrong. And it's going to be 15 yards. So a nice 15-yard pickup if there is no offensive penalty. We're going to roll and see if there is. 9. Opponent offsides, but they're going to decline that penalty, and they're going to take the 15-yard gain. So that's 10 and 5 and first down for Houston, and they are in field goal range right now. You almost feel like, with the way this game has gone, they should just kick it right now. But anyway, it is going to be 1st and 10 from the 21. And they're going to go off tackle with their fullback. That's what Houston's going to do. And that is a 7 off tackle. And that's 2 yards. So they got a 2nd and 8 coming up. 12 minutes left in the game. They're going to do a short pass to the split end. Short to the split. That is a 10. They were right. And that's going to be incomplete. So it's 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8 coming up. 11:30 left in the game. And they're going to go off tackle with the fullback. I'm going to see if they can catch him off guard here. And that is going to be a 6. I have to roll the dice to see what it is, what they're looking for, because I got the question mark. I got the dreaded question mark. 3rd and 8. Let's see. 1 to 14. They're looking for the pass, and they are looking for the pass. So this is going to be a 6 on the fullback. Fullback off tackle. And it's only a yard. So they are going to try to kick the field goal. It's 4th down. 11 minutes left in the game. They're going to try to kick the field goal from the 18. So from the 18-yard line, it is good. 2 to 7 or 12. The field goal would be good. It is a 7. And so they do get the field goal, and that makes the score 20 to 17. And the possession will switch, supposedly. We'll do the kickoff. So the Oilers lead at 20 to 17 with 11 minutes left in the game. The kickoff is an 11, and that's going to be to the 9, number 2. 9-yard line. Number 2 back for Buffalo is returning it. Number 2 back is John Kimbrough. And that is a 4, and that's going to be 20 yards. So it's out to the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 for Buffalo. And it moves 1 on the kick, and 10:45 left. They are going to go short to the split end. Now Buffalo has a sense of urgency. They're actually losing. And that's going to be a 6 on a short pass with a possible defensive penalty. But 6 on short is 14 yards. So let's see if there is a defensive penalty. Offsides, but they're going to decline that, and they're going to take the 14 yards. 1, 10, and 3. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for Buffalo from the 43-yard line. They're going to go end run with OJ. End run with OJ 10, and that's going to be -1 yard. OJ loses a yard. You know what? I haven't been writing the stats down for this game, but it doesn't strike me that OJ's having one of his better games. They will go on 2nd and 11. They're going to go... You know what? They're going to back-to-back OJ. They're going to go end run with OJ again. That is a 6. 6 on the end run is 6 yards. So he gets some of that back. And now it is 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5, 9:15 left in the game. They're going to go flat to the tight end. Flat to the tight end, 6, and they were right. But it's going to be 5 yards, even if you're right, and so that is a 1st down. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for Buffalo from the 47-yard line of Houston. And they're going to air it out here. They're going to do one air it out, try to go long and get this back. That is an 8, and they were right. 8 right is incomplete. $8:45 left in the game. It's 2nd and 10. They're going to go end run with OJ again. End run OJ on a 4 with a possible offensive penalty. But let's see what the end run would be. It would be 5 yards, but let's see if there's an offensive penalty on Buffalo. 6, there isn't, so it is going to be 5 yards. And it is 2nd and 5. 8:15 left. They're going to go line buck with the fullback. Line buck with the fullback 5, and that's a possible fumble. And they were wrong, luckily. So it's a fumble 0. Oh, wait a minute. It's a fumble 0. Yeah, 2-7. It's an 8, so he doesn't fumble, but he doesn't get any yards either. And so it's 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5, they're going to go flat to the tight end. Flat pass to the tight end, 7, and they were wrong. And it doesn't matter, that's incomplete. So it's 4th down for Buffalo. They have a decision to make here. Not much of a decision, really. They're gonna punt, try to nail Houston deep and play a position game with still 7:15 left in the game. That is an 8. And 8 on that punt is 41 back 1. So, and they were at the 40. They were at the 42. So it's going to be down to the 1 yard line. And 41 back one. So back one is, as we have established, is Ken Houston. He gets a 9, which is a fair catch. So again, for the second time this game, Houston is pent up in their end. And they've got to work their way out. And it's going to be tough. 1st and 10 from the 1 for the Oilers, from their own 1 for the Oilers. They're going to go line buck with their fullback. The safest play they can come up with at this position in the field. That is a 6, and they were wrong. So line buck 6 wrong is 5 yards, and that gives them a little bit of breathing room. Gives them a 2nd and 5 too, which is workable. They're going to go off tackle with the halfback. Off tackle with the halfback 5. It's a possible fumble. Let's see. We got to roll and see. They are, what are they doing? Off tackle 2nd and 5. 1 to 6 is a pass. They're looking for the run. So they are looking for the run. And so let's see. 5 off tackle is a fumble plus 2. They're going to get 2 if he doesn't fumble on 2 or 12. And he does. He fumbles. And 2 to 6 or 12, they get it back. They don't get it back. Oh, my God. They just turned the ball over and gave the Buffalo a golden opportunity right here. 6:15 left, and Buffalo gets possession of the fumbled ball, the unlikeliest of fumbled balls. He only fumbled on 2 or 12, and they rolled a 2, and then 2 to 6 or 12 get it back, and they rolled an 8 or a 10. So they didn't get it back, and now it's going to be Buffalo wireless, the Buffalo ball on the 6 yard line, and they're going to go line buck with their fullback on the first play. Man, what a turn of events. 10 possible offensive penalty, but 10 line buck is on the Houston defense 0 yards. So now it's going to be 2nd down, 5:45 left. They're going to go end run with OJ. Oh, possible offensive penalty. Let's see if there was an offensive penalty on Buffalo. 6, it doesn't look like it, no. So now end run with OJ, and he gets an 8 with a possible offensive penalty again. 8 is going to be 2 yards, but let's see if there was an offensive penalty. 3, there isn't. Oh, wait a minute. No, there is. What? It's opponent number 5. So let's see what that is. Running play defense 5. Holding 5 yards from the original line of scrimmage and a 1st down. That's going to be half the distance, though, and they are at the 6, so it's going to go down to the 3. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to take the ball at the 3 yard line. 5:15 left. And let's see. Did they... And a first, I guess it gives it a 1st down. So 1st and goal from the 3 for Buffalo. They're going to go line buck with the fullback again. Line buck with the fullback, 7, possible defensive penalty. 7 on line buck on Houston is 2 yards, which would put it down at the 1. But let's see if there's a defensive penalty. 7 There isn't. So, yeah, it's down at the 1 yard line. You got a 2nd and goal. 4:45 left. They're going to go line buck with the quarterback. They're going to do the quarterback sneak. The old quarterback sneak. And that is going to be a 9. And let's see whether they were looking for it or not. 12. Probably 2nd and 1. 1 to 3 were looking for the pass, so they were looking for the run. So let's see if he can do the quarterback sneak. 9. 9 is going to be a possible fumble. They were looking for it, so it's a fumble 0, 2 to 7. 8. He doesn't fumble, but he gets no yards. So the quarterback sneak comes up with nothing, and they got a 3rd and goal. They don't really want to settle for a tie here, I can tell you that. They're going to go, I got to take a drink here. They're going to go off tackle with O.J. Simpson. I mean, you're going to go to O.J. in this situation. And that is a 6, but they were right. Off tackle 6 is still 4 yards and a touchdown for the Bills. The extra point is only missed on 11 or 12, and it isn't. So that's going to be 24 for them. And the Bills lead at 24-20. And we got a barn burner here. We're gonna change the let's see. Yeah. Gonna change the possession, and the kickoff for the Bills is a 10. Oh, I gotta move it. 10 on the kickoff is to the 12, number 1. So that's way out. Houston's returning it from the 12 with their number 1 back, which is Willie Rogers, who is the running back, right? The halfback. That's going to be 18 yards. So 3, 10, 15. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Houston from their 30-yard line. And we move it 1 for the kickoff. 3:30 left. They're going to go end run with their halfback. End run with the halfback. Possible defensive penalty 7. End run 7 would be 2 yards. Let's see if there's a defensive penalty. 9. Opponent offside. So Houston was offside. They lose 5 yards on that, and it's going to be 1st and 15. 3 minutes left. Now time is not their friend. They're going to go short to the split end. The time and distance in this situation isn't their friend. That is a 7 short pass, and 7 short pass is incomplete. So now it's 2nd and 15. They're going to go, let's see. They're going to go short pass to the tight end this time. Short to the tight end, and it's a 5 and a possible defensive penalty, but let's see if they were looking for it. They were looking for the run. So it's going to be let's see. 5 on a short pass is 13 yards. That would be a 13-yard completion. Let's see if there's a defensive penalty on Buffalo. 10, number 1, and let's see what their number 1 is. Number 1 on a pass. Completed pass, personal foul 15 yards from concluding line of scrimmage, and a first down. So they got, what did they get on that? I don't even remember what they got. Let's see, 10, 3, 10. I think they got a completion for like 10 yards. Oh no, 13. They got 13. So 10, 13, and then you tack on 15 more, 2, 10, and 3. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Oilers from the 47 of Buffalo. Now there's 2 minutes left, so the time won't move on. The timer won't move on this play. And they're going to go short pass again, but this time to the split end. And they need more than a field goal. A field goal ain't going to do it. So 9 on a short pass on the Buffalo defense is receiver, and they're wrong. And it's the split end, and the split end is Dave L. Smith. And it's a short pass, 8, and that's going to be 12 yards. So 12 more yards. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for Houston from the 35. And they're going to go off tackle with the fullback. And that is a 10 possible defensive penalty. 10 off tackle, though, is 7 yards. Let's see if there was a defensive penalty. 6, there wasn't, so he gets 7 yards. And it's going to be, now this time it does move to a minute 45 left. And they are going to, they're going to call a timeout. So time won't move right here. And it's 2nd and 3. 2nd and 3, they're going to go line buck with the fullback. Line buck fullback, 7, possible defensive penalty. 7 is 0 yards, but let's see if there's a penalty on them. That's a 9. 9 is opponent offsides. So that's going to be a 2nd now, a 2nd and 8. 2nd and 8, and time didn't move, and they're going to take another timeout, and they're going to go end run with the halfback, and we're going to say that Buffalo is only looking for the pass, so we're not even going to entertain the idea that they wouldn't be looking for the pass on 2nd and 8 with only a minute 45 left. And that is a 7, end run halfback 7. And it's 0 yards. Unbelievable. So it's 3rd down and 8. And no, time didn't move. They're going to use their 3rd and final timeout. No, they're going to let the time, they'll let the time move on this one. They're going to go short to the split end. And again, Buffalo is only looking for the pass. That's an 8, possible defensive penalty. 8 short pass would be incomplete because they were looking for it, but let's see if there's a defensive penalty on Buffalo. That's a 3, and it's opponent number 5. So, opponent number 5 on a pass. Holding 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Well, now it's 3rd and forever. It goes back to 3rd down because of the holding penalty, but it's 3rd and forever. And they did let it move, so there's a minute 30 left. they're really up against the wall with no choices here. They're going to have to go long to the flanker. Long to the flanker, and Buffalo is only looking for the pass. That is a 7 long. That's must run because they were looking for it. Ooh, that's an 11. It's a negative 1 yard loss on the scramble by Pastorini. And it's 4th down, and time moved to 1:15. They are not going to use their timeout right here, but they are going to go for it because they've got to. They're going to go long to the split end. Again, Buffalo looking for the pass, obviously. 10 long. 10 long is receiver. Now, they were looking for it, but let's see what the split end can pull out of his butt. Yeah, not a lot. He needs an 8. Got to have an 8. 7. No, it's incomplete. And there's going to be a turnover on downs now. And there's only a minute left. So unless Buffalo makes a heinous mistake here, they're going to win this game. First down, they're going to go end run with OJ. And Houston would only be looking for the run because that's what Buffalo would do. And it's a 5. Well, it's a possible fumble. End run, fumble, 2 to 9. Negative 1 yard, 2 to 9. That's a 10. They don't fumble, but they do lose a yard. And I guess Houston would use their last time out, so time won't move on this one. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It's 2nd and 11. They're going to go end run with the fullback. Again, Houston would be looking for the run. End run fullback 6. And that's going to be 5 yards. They're right at midfield with a 3rd and 6, I think. Time didn't move because they used their last time out. Houston did. And so now they're going to go off tackle with OJ. Off tackle OJ 9. Possible offensive penalty. Would be, no, wait a minute. Off tackle 3, it would be 3 yards, but let's see if there is an offensive penalty. 5. Offsides, so there was. So now it's still third down. But Houston can't stop the clock. There's 30 seconds left. And it's 3rd and whatever. They're going to go end run with, well, you know what? They're looking for the run, so they're going to go long. They're going to go long to the flanker. Long pass to the flanker, 2. And it's going to be incomplete because they weren't looking for it, which is crazy. All right, so it's 4th down. They're going to punt, obviously. Buffalo is punting. They could make it interesting and not do that, but in real life they wouldn't. Punt is 20 yards, back 1. So 14 and 6. And back number 1 is returning it. And that is Ken Houston. And that's going to be 6 yards. 6 yards on the punt return. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Oilers at their own 40. Which is doable, but I don't put a lot of faith in it. They're going to go long to the split end, and obviously Buffalo would look for the pass. Long to the split end 11. What are we going to have there? We're going to have a negative 7 sack is what we're going to have. Negative 7 yards on the sack. Last play of the game, right here. It's going to be long to the flanker. Buffalo looking for it. And that is a 6 long pass on the Buffalo defense, and it's intercepted 2 to 7 or 12. 7, it is intercepted 35 yards downfield, 2, 10, 20, 30, and 3. We'll do the interception return just to see if it's a touchdown, because it can be. It's an 8, and it's not going to be. It's going to be 4 yards. And so that's your game. That's your final score. Buffalo wins at 24-20. I know I've made some mistakes along the way here. Apologize for that, but I don't think I've made any mistakes that cost the Oilers the game. So that is going to be it for me. Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.